record. Okay, sorry. So types of decision that we're looking at. The first one, types of decision. Types of decisions. This pen is so serious. Moses, do something. So the first one is called program and non-program decision. Program. Programmed and non-programmed decisions. So the one that is programmed means that those decisions that you're making must be having some plans. So it relates to the function that is a repetitive. So you can always plan. For example, going on leave. Decision to go on leave and at what time umejipanga mapema, right? So you know that I'm going to have exam from 24th to 25th. So I'm going on leave. You're going on leave on 25th because you had planned for it, right? We have decision to procure some items. That is something that you know already. So these decisions are taken based on the existing policy, the rules and the procedures within organization. For example, making a decision to purchase an order, sanctioning of different types of leave, increment in salary, bonuses, they are programmed, they are programs. So we have the opposite of this, which is not routine. They are decisions that you make as they come. For example, you wake up in the morning, unapata maji imemwagika kila mahali in the office, you have to make a decision on maybe buying something to clean that place. That is a decision that was not programmed because it is not a routine thing. The decision to to let people go on leave or just go off duty because there is COVID-19, because nyumba imechomeka, because system is down, those are non-program decisions. So that is how you can be able to explain that. So there is one that is quite known in advance and you plan for it. And then we have the one that comes abruptly. So non-program decisions arise out of unstructured problems. So the first one you say, it comes from existing policies. This one from existing policies. Existing policies and procedures. Right? Where you are well about it. And I gave example in this, we talked about issues to do with making procurements, sanctioning or approving leave days, increment in salaries, those are programmed. And then non-programmed here, these are the ones that come or arise out of unstructured problems. They arise out of unstructured problems. Things that you cannot even predict. Things that you cannot even predict. Those are the unstructured problems. So these are not routine things. They usually, they are decisions that you can make on occasional situations. You make them occasionally. Then let's now look at the second type of decision is called routine and strategic decisions. Routine and strategic. Now, strategic are very, very important decisions. They are normally done once in a while. Sio kila siku. For example, a decision to open a branch, a decision to have capital investment. Sio kitu unaweza amka tu any day and you come and do it. So it is not routine per se. It is strategic because it has got an impact, a big impact on the organization's directions or whatever you want to do. But then routine ones are the ones that you do daily. Like we know that every day somebody must wake up, go and open the door, you know, make calls to customers if there is anything. Like, for example, those who are working in the bank, every day you can be calling customers for the checkbook, you call them for the ATM cards, you call them for dormant accounts. Those are things that are quite routine. So they're part of your daily activities, right? But we have things that are strategic. Or maybe like using petty cash, you go and buy tea, supporting customers by giving them something like sweets. That is routine. Then we have non-routine, which are strategic. We call them strategic decisions. The decision to employ the chief finance officer, the decision to create a department or a branch, the decision to finance company or a project. Those are strategic decisions. So routine ones are very small ones. They are less risky. They don't involve a lot of money. These are small decisions. They are insignificant. They are insignificant, right? We can also say that they are less risky. Less risky. They can be made by junior managers. People at the lower level of management can do this. Junior managers. But then we have strategic decisions which are made by senior people because of the kind of risk that you're taking. They are made by senior people who have experience and they are always capital intensive, right? They have a lot of capital involved in them. So they're sometimes difficult to make these decisions. They're not easy to make. Like appointing a new CEO. It's not something that you just wake up and give advert and then you do interview, get the CEO. Unlike getting a young in terms of the level, we are saying that junior staff is very easy to do. Okay, the next one is organizational and personal decisions. These are types. These are not models, Florence. These are types. If examiner asks for the type, unapeana easy. So we have organizational and or versus and personal. So when you're making decision that you make on personal basis, just kia mtu akisema huyu mtu amesema yake, hiyo sio, it is not the position of or the opinion of the organization. That is his own personal opinion. Or maybe you just made a mistake. Somebody saying that is his own decision, not the decision of the company. So we are saying that organizations are those which decisions are those which managers take in his official capacity. Because the organization doesn't make a decision. Human being in that organization must make a decision. So for us to say that it is the decision for the organization, it means that you made it in your capacity as the manager, in your capacity as the CEO. Those decisions are always can be delegated to people at the lower level. Yani kama wewe individual, you cannot do it. You can let your assistant do it. He can also make the same decision. Lakini yako personal, you cannot delegate. Nilikuwa nataka kuenda mahali. Sisi sema sasa wewe enda. No. If it is something that I had to do alone, I must go there. But for the organization, it can be made even if you are not there. Hata kama ulikufa huko, the company can still make decision to do the same thing and operation continues. So the executive can take decision in a personal capacity that does not relate to the organization in any way. And this one is what we call personal decision. The decision to go and leave, just to miss. You can take the decision to go and leave or to just stop coming because you may choke, that is personal. But you can be told, as an organization can tell you, go and leave, it is a compulsory leave because they want to do some forensic investigation. Then that is organizational decision. Umelazimishwa. Umeambiwa na kampuni, maybe because of the policy or something. Then now we have the next one, policy and operational decision. Number 4, policy and operational decisions. So operational decisions do not have to be restricted on the policy. Maybe there are things that you can make on a day-to-day basis. Somebody has told you that I'm not coming today, I'm not feeling well. The manager can make decision to grant leave, right? Those are normal decisions that you can make depending on the challenges. But policy decisions are taken by top management or administration. They relate to major issues and policy, such as the nature of financial structure, the dividend policies, marketing policies, IT policies, the outline of the organizational structure. Those are policy decisions. You cannot go against them. They are outlined well, right? How you're going to pay dividends, how you're going to market, their IT policies, the security, the training, the HR, issues like that. So there are things that are normally designed and they have to be made by the people at the top, implemented as it goes down. But then we have operation, which I said is also called tactical. Ile unatengeneza huku kwa ground, the decisions that you make on the ground here. These are made by managers. They are normally even sometimes recurrent or frequent. They can be done over and over again, depending on the circumstances. So organizational policies and procedures can guide what you're doing, but it doesn't mean that you have to strictly align to it. For example, you can be told that the HR policy says that you need to take leave. You have to take leave with a leave plan. Lakini unapata saa zingine mtu amegojeka, mtu amekuwa na emergency, anaweza enda leave, which is not part of the leave plan. Of course, it is guided by the policy. You have to take a maximum of 21 days, but you have not gone as per the initial leave plan. So that is operational decision, the challenges that you face. So the decision to make to better working condition, the decision to better working condition, to increase the resources at your place of work, those are small decisions that you can make, which are operational issues. Then we have individual decision and group decisions. So number 5, individual and group decision. Individuals and group decision. So the decision that you're making on your personal, on your capacity as an individual, that is called individual decision. Any decision taken by an individual in an official capacity, it is an individual decision. You are taking it on your own capacity. But then you can make a decision on behalf of a group of people or team that you are leading or managing. So group decisions are taken by a group collectively or by a firm or employees or any group of people. For example, the decision taken by the board of directors, that is a group decision. Decision taken by the CEO on behalf of the management, that is a group decision. But then we can also have the personal. If it is a welfare, you can make decision as a welfare that if somebody dies or somebody amegonjeka, mnachanga pesa fulani. That is a group decision. But you can also still go ahead. Instead of kuchanga as per the group decision, kuchange 100 or 1,000 per kila mtu, you can go ahead and give 5,000. Now that amount on top is individual decision. You decided to reward them or to give them some extra stipend, right? So that is individual decision. We also have short-term and long-term decisions. Short-term and long-term decisions. Of course, you know what they mean. The short-term ones are decisions that you're making for a shorter period. Long-term have got a longer effect. Short-term decisions are taken for short span period. Such a decision to generate, to generally involve less uncertainty and certain risk, right? We are saying that such decisions involve generally less risk. The decision for short term, generally, they involve less risk. They are less risky. But the long-term ones are for longer period. They are normally a capital intensive, or they have a lot of investment. They involve a lot of people, and then they are very risky. The reason why they are risky, number one, because you cannot predict the future. You can make a decision to invest in a certain product, but you don't know whether the future will favor it, whether the market will be good for it. But the decision to increase production today can be a short term. It is less risky because I'll increase the production. When I've seen the demand, somebody has told me to share quotation or has given me maybe a request to go and supply. So I can make decision today to increase the production. But addition to start another product, or to open a different branch, or to go and start a business in a different country, that's a long-term thing, right? It's not investment for today only. So therefore, it can have a longer impact. And so it is risky because of the uncertainty in the future. We have economic and non-economic decisions. That is number 7. I'm not sure if you are able to see the board fully. Yes, you can see economic and non-economic. And non-economic. Decision. Of course, these ones you can know. Economic decision involves some money. That is where you are going to spend some money. That is economic decision. So we can say that they are related to financial matters. A decision that will relate or will require you to put money. That is economic decisions. Non-economic decisions are the ones that relate to social values, the ethical values, moral factors, social, cultural, religious, educational, political, psychological. Those ones do not involve money, but they are also decision. Decision towards somebody, that is a decision that you can make anytime, right? Decision to go to a certain church or belief, decision to be associated with a certain culture, the social values, moral values, those are non-economical. Then we have number 8, major and minor decision. It's called major and minor decision. That is number 8. Major and minor decisions. So major decisions are the decisions that relates to the purchase of expensive items like fixed assets, which have got more value. Those are major decisions. It can be a long-term, decision can be long-term, but it's not major. Tunaelewana? So we can still categorize decisions as, apart from short and long-term, we can also say major and minor. It can be major, but for a short term. Major, but for a short term. It can be minor, but for a long term. Let me tell you, for example, some people can say that because of the current challenge that we're having, the short term, like now what happened with during coronavirus, Easy Coach and other companies decided to realign their seating capacity, right? They even increase the spaces between the passengers, right? That was a major decision because it involves a lot of money. In fact, even some of them designed the kind of vehicles that they were having, they had to redesign. That is a major decision, but it was only for a short time, like less than a year. They went back to the original position. So you spend a lot of money, you do some readjustment. Some people even increase the space, working areas. Unapata mtu sasa nyumba ilikuwa, they have decided to give another house so that people can be scattered. They had to rent another space so that people can be scattered because of COVID-19. It is a capital investment. It involves a lot of money, but it's for a short-term basis, right? So that is the difference. That is the difference. So this decision is taken by the top management. It's normally taken by the top management. But minor decision relates to the purchase of mostly current assets, things that are maybe having less value. They can stay for long, but they are of a lesser value, right? They can be of a lesser value. Let's now look at decision-making process, something that is also examinable. I've seen it in one of the past papers, decision-making process. Decision-making process So I said that the decision-making process, you can simply summarize them using the rational model. Rational model, what did we say about the process? Truth. We said that first thing that you need to know, define the problem. Clear when you are making decision. Define the problem. Right? Number two, you need to look for the alternative course of actions. So you need to research or identify or research on the alternative course of actions. Then number three, we say that you need to do what is called appraisal or evaluation or analysis of the alternatives. Then number four, we say choose the best alternative. Then we say that implement the best alternative, or we can say the chosen alternative. Then we say that review the decision. So basically, these are the major stages. And whatever stage that I'm going to give you will be summarized into the same. You can actually summarize them here. So in exam, if you're told like 10 marks and you're told to describe the decision-making process, this is the summary. It flows. You can do it, but that is the summary. Now, I want us now to proceed and now look at the more comprehensive stages. These are summarized steps. And you realize that they are going to get into this one, which is comprehensive. So the first one, define or diagnose or define the problem. See only the same, number one. Number two, information gathering. Is it not research? Information gathering and analysis of the facts required to solve the problem. That is information gathering. And analysis required. An analysis of facts required to solve a problem. So what is this? That is doing research. When you are doing research to get the alternative course of actions, those are the facts that you require to solve the problem. So number one, two, imeingiana. Still. Number three, develop and evaluate alternative solutions. Develop and evaluate. Sio ni kama analyze. Develop and evaluate. There, develop and evaluate the alternative solutions to the problem. Alternative solution to the problem. Develop and evaluate the alternative solution to the problem. Right? So number 1, 2, 3 ishaingiana, sindio? Then weigh the evidence. Weigh the evidence. That is 1, 3, and 4 is the same. Weighing the alternatives is basically the same as evaluating. Weigh the evidence. Ile information on the paper that is still under evaluation. So number 5, choose the best alternative from the available alternatives. Choosing the best alternatives. The best decision. The best decision from the available. From the available alternatives. Sio bado inaingiana vizuri. Then take action. Take actions ni implement. Take action. Sio ni implement. Number 7. Review decision. Review decision. Review decision. So let's look at now problem solving skills. I'm hoping that all of us are there. Confirm that we are together up to there. Okay, so let's look at problem solving skills. When you have a problem, you need to make a decision on how it can be solved. But then you need to have skills that can help you solve the problem. So what are some of the skills that you require as you make decisions to solve your problems or the problems that you have in an organization? So that is what we call problem solving skills. Problem solving skills. So the first one, the skills that you require so that you can solve the problem is creativity. You can be involving some creativity. So this is where it is usually where you use intuitive or you can use systematical knowledge. You need to be able to use your experience, the past experience, right? And the general knowledge that you have, right? To come up with a solution that somebody might not have thought about. So initiation is where you can come up with new knowledge, where you can come up with it. It is used where no new knowledge is needed, where there is no new knowledge is needed, but use the past experience. Sorry. So we are saying that problems are usually solved either systematically or intuitively. Under intuitive, we said earlier that it is where you can be able to use the background information that you have, knowledge that you have, or experience that you have. It is not like creating a new thing. So it is not like creating a new thing, but under creativity, you come up with a new knowledge. Creativity is about coming up with new knowledge, but intuitively, this is where you have no new knowledge is required. no new knowledge is required. Use past information or past knowledge. Unatumia information that you have seen somewhere or you have already. But creativity is where new knowledge is required. So you can make decision from here intuitively, where you're using the past experience, information that you have already, not new one, but here you're using new information. So in creativity, you have to come up with new methods of solving the problem that nobody could have thought about. Unlike this other one, where you have information that was already somewhere. Another way of solving the problem, apart from becoming creative to solve the problem, another one is research skills. Research skills. You can solve the problem by using research skills. Like those who are doing nutrition, you'll find that maybe a certain area watoto wamekonda tu, so you go and do research and find out what could be the problem. Why are people in this particular area watoto wanakufa wakiwa wadogo? Maybe wanakonda tu. Maybe it is because of lack of proper diet, or maybe there's some vitamins that they are missing, so you need to do research. But creativity is like maybe uingie kwa nyumba unapata the tap iko na shida, ina leak, na unajua uko na some pipe somewhere, you go and take that pipe, unakuja unaunda kitu hujaiona mahali before, lakini unasema hii kitu usinikifanya hivi it can work. So you're not doing research per se, but you're trying to come up with a solution, something that you have never seen before probably, or the people that you are with there didn't think that you could have come up with that an idea. Then we have teamworking. You can also solve problems through teamworking. Teamworking. So defining teamworking, this is where we are saying that many problems are best defined and solved with input of others, right? This may be a simple research, through a simple research where you can be able to ask people as a team, you do research and ask them, what do you think about this? Then they gather information, you solve it together. Sijui kama tunaelewana. In teamwork, you're solving problem as a group. You just do some consultation and let people assist you and do it as a team. So teamwork may sound like working like a work thing, but it isn't important. It is just an important like something that is important like consulting. It might not be like a teamwork where you're working physically, but it's about consulting, getting information from other people, and let everybody have their input in whatever you're solving. Ndio, when something happens, somebody cannot come and blame you that you did it alone. I've seen situations where, for example, when you are having maybe michango ya matanga, and then somebody saying that supplier wendi ulileta, you didn't involve us, we don't even know what the budgets entail. So for you to solve such kind of problems, they can even come up with sources of funds, they can come up with the cheapest suppliers. So you need to come up with a team that is able to work, and that team should be knowledgeable. They might not involve in the work directly, but they can give you information that is very important. Then we have emotional intelligence. That is number 4, emotional intelligence. You can solve problem by reading people's emotions and looking at the impact of whatever you're going to do, the impact of the problem. Are we together? So emotional intelligence is just about reading people's emotion. So before you make a decision, you should have seen that this problem is costing this kind of problem, or it is costing this much to our people or the people who are involved, the stakeholders. And then you come up with a problem by looking at a way of preventing that problem from causing much damage. So it is worth considering the impact of a problem or its solution and how it affects people So the ability to recognize the emotional or emotions of yourself and emotions of others is very important when you are coming up with solutions. So this will guide you on coming up with appropriate solution. Sometimes, for example, especially during election, you might find that you go somewhere, you find people, they are not happy about the results. So you go there and you have already ushaelewa, like Kibera. The OCS for Kibera used to tell us that sometimes anaenda pale, anaona watu wamekasirika tayari. So kabla waanze maandamano, you want to know how to work with the emotions. You have to assume ama ujifanye that you are part of them. You know, that is emotional intelligence. You are part of them. Then now, mnaelewana now, mnapiga story. Watakuwa beshte yako. But if you try to oppose them, just know that your actions, whatever you're trying to do to solve the problem there, is going to cause more damage. It can even light up more problems, right? It can bring out more problems. So you need to understand, and then also you need to manage your emotions as well, so that you can be able to solve the problem. The next one is risk management. Risk management is also another way of solving the problem. Risk management. So we are saying that solving a problem involves certain amount of risk. Of course, when you want to solve a problem, sometimes you have to involve a certain amount of risk. This risk needs to be weighed up against not solving it. Like, for example, a friend of mine had got some damages. Yani alikuwa na shida kwa mguu. Ukienda kwa madaktari za mguu au wenye wanadili na mifupa, and you have a problem kwa mfupa, they will ask you, they will look at it, wapige picha, wanaiguza, alafu they ask you how long has it been there. Then they will tell you that, you know, if we break it to try to fix it now, utakuwa kiwete ama kilema. So the best thing, kama it is occasional, inakuuma but occasionally, then there is no need of breaking it. If we break it or we touch it now, we are going to cause more problem than just leaving it like that. So we are saying that you need to manage the risk. You need to understand the implication of making decision and not making decision, or taking an action and not taking an action. You need to manage the risk. You look at which one has got a bigger risk. If I do something or if I just don't do something. Mtu amekukasirikia. Ukijibu atakasirika more. The best thing is to move away from that person. Kuje baadaye kama ametulia, sio? That is risk management. Sasa Florence, kwa sana mtu nasikia sauti iko juu, the best thing ni kutoka kidogo alafu rudi baadaye. That is risk management. Because if you act au mjibu reply saa hiyo, it can actually work. Itawaka moto.
Mr. Dennis, you see me, I have one weakness. I do not have those types of decision making that you unaongelelea. Mimi, you do it instantly, I deal with you. Hapo na hapo sikuachi. Sasa that is so empowering.
That is what I'm ask Florence. So that when you come out a better lady than the way you are. I know. Yeah? Badala ya kuwaka moto, can you think about risk management that Mr. Dennis taught you? That when things are happening, sometimes you listen and think about what will be the implication. Should I react now, or it is better I listen, right? So it's a good thing. So this leadership and management is making you to be a leader. Imagine, Florence, you are a leader who can act the way you are acting. How do you think the station will be? You are the OCS, and then you are having that character that you're having now. Itachomeka, nakwambia. So sometimes you relax, you are the one in charge, you relax and so find a better way, not even reacting, una ignore. Ukiona vijana wanaandamana wamekuja police station, lakini they don't have bad intention, huwezi anza kuwavuruga. Naambia tu watulie, tutaongea nao. Ama you can even support them. Tell them that I agree with your grievances. You guys are actually right, but you can sit down so that we talk. Lakini ukichukua kiboko na wako na mawe, itakuwa kubaya. So we need to balance. That is risk management. The damage can be worse. Okay, so let's proceed. The next one is called logical thinking. Logical thinking. So logical thinking will easily enable you to assess all the possible solutions. You know, somebody is telling you that is logics. Ni kama hapa hujatumia akili, hujatumia logics hapo. So logics means that you need to think about the situation first, assess all the possible solutions, and choose the one that can make sense, can make the most sense out of them, right? That is logical thinking. You need to be able to see the outcome before you react. So logical thinking or thinkers are also talented. When it comes to maths, they can be able to calculate and even know the answer before you do that. They can be able to find the most affordable prices. They can be able to find the most convenient solutions to your problems. So hao ndio mtu anakwambia bado wacha kwanza nifanye hesabu. Unamwambia fanya hivi na hivi na hivi, anakwambia ngoja kwanza nifanye hesabu. He's thinking logically. Alafu atakuja na answers. They are able to look at the bigger picture. They can be able to see both smaller and bigger picture. Logical thinkers. So the next one is decision making. Which is the last one, decision making. Do you know that decision making skills is also a skill that you need to have to solve a problem? You know, sometimes I meet things that are very very dangerous. Like when I think about them, I feel bad. You guys remember during time ya Westgate? Ruth, were you in Nairobi? Time ya Westgate, when Westgate was attacked. And so our very own Olelenku was giving mixed informations, right? So it was giving a bad impression in the government or to the government. Now what happened? The president ordered that waende wabomoe hiyo nyumba. So walienda wakabomoa Westgate. They went there na wakapiga bomu na nyumba ikateremka. Na kila mtu mwenye alikuwa hapo wakiassume sasa wanaua Al-Shabaab pamoja na kila kitu ndani. Don't you think that even Kenyans would have been inside that? That is a decision making. Sometimes it is very painful. Because wakati unafikiria that I'm going to sink this thing so that I kill Al-Shabaab here, what about if there was a Kenyan inside there? And probably nobody knows. Maybe there's somebody who was there and hajapatikana hadi leo. Watu wamenyamaza tu. So what I'm saying in simple terms is that when you're solving a problem, sometimes you have to make a decision. However hard it is, however difficult it is, you have to make a decision. We are not saying that something could have happened. That is just an example. I'm just thinking as Dennis, you know, my weird thinking. I was thinking like, when you're assuming that only my enemy is there, don't you think that your friend can also be inside there? Because you don't even know how many people are your friends and where were they, in which positions. So as much as you're making decisions, sometimes you can reach a position where you now look at the bigger picture. Kama wewe ni driver na ulikuwa na drive, umefika mahali unaona utagongana na either ugonge mtu mmoja, you know, mtu amecross barabara vibaya. So you have to make decision. Either I hit one person ama niepe lakini nigongane na trailer. Nikigongana na trailer, I know the consequences. Kila mtu mwenye ako kwa gari atakufa, right, including me, and moto inaweza tokea. Lakini nikikanyaga huyu mtu mmoja mwenye amekuja in a wrong position or wrong direction, nikimikanyaga nitapita, there is nothing. Na kanyaga nikienda, you know, so I'll be able to save majority by killing one person. That is decision making. It is solving a problem. It is solving a problem. Umefika mahali sasa unafanya hesabu. Hapa nikifanya hii na hii. Florence. Sasa hapo kama wewe ni driver, you have to kill one person. At the end of the day, somebody must die. But unakubali. Sio kwa ubaya. You're looking at the bigger picture. Kama driver. So it is very, very
Dennis, I do not want to talk much because Edwin will start saying I'm bringing case studies that doesn't exist. You see, Dennis, the world that we are in, na yenye uko, it's a bit different. Because you see, as per me, let's talk me, I reason like a snake. Snake ukimpata anaweza ishi na wewe kwa hiyo nyumba yako for years before umchokoze, lakini the very moment utaona tu hii snake mali alikuwa tu, ulikuwa unaosha vyombo, ako hapo kando yako unamwagia maji, amenyamaza, unafanya nini, amenyamaza, alafu muone roho yako ishtuke, yeye pia ashtuke, already the snake is ready for war. Akiona tu hivyo umeanza kuleta ile kitu ya kumwattack, ako ready for that war. So the decision anachukua it's either umue ama kuue. So unajua, as much as unaambia my learned friends, so sijui reasons, sijui unaachana na mtu amecheat, anaenda wewe ndo unakuwa side chick. No, those things don't exist, my dear friend.
Nimekubali. So that is what about that is about decision. So even what you're saying is also about decision, but you look at which one will cause a bigger damage. So problem solving and decision making are closely related. Problem solving and decision making are closely related, and those skills are required in both. And making a decision is an important part of solving any problem. It is a process of solving the problem. Remember, when we're looking at some of the ways of the decision-making process, we reached somewhere where you have to choose among the alternatives. And even when you're solving the problem, unafika mahali now you have to weigh and choose one of the alternatives. So that is all about that. I want us now to look at the importance of solving problem. Why is it good to solve a problem? At your place of work, you want to stay with people in harmony. Why is it good to solve problem? You know, sometimes things that we meet in life, they are problems. Yeah? Ruth, ukienda kufanya mtihani, when you just sit down, everybody is at 100%. Wakati unaanza kufanya mtihani, umepewa paper, everybody is at 100%. Lakini sasa examiner ni nani? Number one, unapewa problem. Nakumbuka high school, primary, unaambiwa solve the problem. Si hesabu ilikuwa hivyo. Solve the problem. And then they give you something like that, 25. Solve the problem. Kumbe hii ni problem. Kumbe hii ni problem. So the problem is now that in exam they start giving you question number 1, shida ndio hiyo. Shida number 2, shida number 3. So unazisolve, ukimaliza unapata uko na 20% or 30. So we are saying that at the end of the day, if you can be able to solve all this problem well, you're going to have 70%, then you're going to achieve your goal. Your goal is to pass, and you only pass by solving these problems. You only pass by solving this problem. So that makes the first importance of solving problem or problem solving. And so you can say that it helps to achieve goals. It helps to achieve goals. That is the importance. It helps to achieve goals. Importance of problem solving. Sasa wenye wana skills za kusolve LM ama LPM, will they achieve the goals? You don't have skills za kusolve hizo question za LFM. Yes, sasa itakuwa ngumu kupata hiyo goal yako, sio? The next one, manage team effectively. So the first one, I say that it helps to achieve the goals. Helps to achieve goals. Number 2, manage team effectively. Building collaboration. Really, should I even have to explain this? We say that one of the skills that you require in problem solving is teamwork. Still, if you have teamwork, then you're going to build collaboration. The next one is client satisfaction. When you solve client's problem, he's satisfied. Client satisfaction. Client satisfaction. Client satisfaction. The next one is meeting deadlines. If you are able to solve your problem very fast, you can meet your deadline. Now Florence is telling me that Moses anamchelewesha. Why does Moses pose problem to you? Because by you not getting the video, you're not going to meet your deadline. Your deadline is that unataka watch your video by the time tunaanza class ingine umemaliza. That is the deadline you set for yourself. Ndio. So you want to solve the problem by watching that video early as possible. That's part of it. So one of the skills, the importance of having the skills of solving the problem or having the ability to solve the problem is that it helps you to be able to meet the deadline, meeting the deadline. Meeting the deadline. Meeting the deadline, right? The next one is to eliminate stress from the workplace. Wacha niwaambie, one of the problems that employers have is paying salary. For those who are doing businesses, the startups, one of the challenges that they face is paying salary. Now, if you pay salary, you have solved the problem. If you're not paying salary, you can imagine the stress that is there. Sa hiyo hata ukiambia tu employee, kindly call client so and so, ama Mr. so and so, anakwambia ana credit. Hata kuambia ati hujatulipa, sina credit. It is a problem. Kuna stress. Kuna moja wetu, one of my staffs, alienda akanyoa nywele. So when I went back to the office, napata amenyoa nywele. Namuuliza, mbona umenyoa nywele? Sina pesa ya kushuka. You know, that person is trying to tell me that salary imechelewa. Problem solving. Na unaangalia sura yake, unajua tu hii ni stress. So I'm saying that stress at the workplace is there if you have not solved the problems. Let's look at decision making under different conditions. 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 The first condition is certainty condition. We have two conditions, and whether it is in a firm or advanced management accounting, the conditions where we make decision. This topic is also there. Decision making under different conditions. So the one condition that you can make decision under is certainty. Certainty condition is where you're making decision when you have full knowledge about what is going on. Certainty condition under which you are well informed about the possible alternatives and their outcomes. That is the first condition. So here we are saying that you're making conditions, you are making decisions. Well informed about all the alternatives, all the available alternatives, and their outcomes. And their outcomes. Kwanza wakina mama, sometimes you make decision when you don't have the outcome. You are making decision when you think it is certainty condition, but it is uncertainty condition. Na juzi nilikuwa naambiwa story ingine. Anyway, class iko karibu kuisha, so don't worry, we are just not far. So tunawaambia hiyo. So I was looking at, it was on TikTok, and nilicheka sana. So huyu mama kijana yake anafanya kazi Nairobi, anaitwa Otieno. So Otieno alimaliza university, ameanza kazi. Ameoa bibi ya kwanza, mama amekataa, ati huyo bibi yako na mtoto. Akaoa pili, mama akakataa, ati huyo bibi yako na masters. No, Otieno ako na degree peke yake. Akaoa watatu, akaambiwa huyo sio kabila yetu. Huyo hatuwezi oana na. So according to Made, alikuwa anafikiria that she knows the outcome of whatever she's doing. Now, Otieno ilikuwa ipo mpaka the fifth wife. si ndio? Haya, jamaa akaachana nayo. Sasa hii amekaa 5 years tangu achana na huyo bibi wa mwisho. He's now 10 years after graduation, after school, na ana bibi na ako na nyumba, ako na gari. So the last day alienda home, Maria akamwambia, tena mtoto wangu, hebu kuja tuongee. Hizo vitu achana nayo. Hizo vitu unaweka kwa gari achana nayo. Kuja tuongee. Ni mama wacha na kuja. Sasa akaenda akapanga vitu kwa gari, mahindi nini akakuja kwa mama. Wamekaa, mama anamwambia, Otino, si utafute hata kama ni bibi, yeyote tu lete. Wenzako, rika zako wameoa wote, wako na watoto wao wanaenda shule, lakini wewe hata huna bibi. Kanyamaza, alafu akaanza kumwambia mama, si wewe ulifanya hivi. Bibi ya kwanza uliniambia hivi. Ya pili ni hivi. Tatu ni hivi. Sasa mimi wacha ningoje ile utaniletea. Yule ndio najua mzuri. Najua bibi mzuri. What are we saying? That sometimes in life we can make decisions when we think that we know the outcome. But you know, sasa yeye amekuwa 45. Most definitely hatapata msichana mdogo. Amefika 45. Atapata yule amedivorce, atapata mwenye bwanake alikufa, ama atapata mwenye kuna watoto watatu, ame experience maisha, character development. So huyo ndio sasa mama atakubali, itabidi akubali, ama tena ataishi bila. So we are saying that sometimes the conditions that the decisions that you are making or actions that you are taking, you might think that you know the condition, but we are saying that you don't have all the available alternatives. You don't know all the available alternatives that can affect the decision that you're making, or whatever decision that you're making can have, can impact on the subject matters, right? So that's just a short story for life, whatever people are experiencing outside here. We have another condition is called risk condition or risk condition. Now, risk condition. Risk condition. A more decision-making condition is a state of risk. In such a condition, managers have knowledge about the alternative course of actions, but outcomes are associated with probability of occurrence, for each of which all are risky. Unajua hii ya kwanza, we are saying that you are aware about them, but the conditions, some are moderate, they are better. A risky condition is where you're making decision and you are all aware about the possible outcome, but all those outcomes are risky. All of them are risky. It is more difficult to predict the future without full information. So the outcome of an alternative cannot be accurately determined. But if you have to, then the only alternatives that you are available at the moment are risky alternatives. I don't know example that I can give you this. Maybe you can think about a situation where you are a young person from a poor background. You are the only person who has gone to school or who has money to reach where you are. So umepewa kazi ya kuwa GSU. The first job umepata unaambiwa uende Somalia ama IT. Ukikataa, you know the implication. Either you go or you get fired. So both conditions both conditions are not favorable. You know the outcome. You know that if you go to IT, definitely hautarudi. Na pia unajua vizuri ukirudi nyumbani watu hawapata chakula. Your parents ukitoka nyumbani ukikuja unaambia naenda kutafuta, unarudi na mkono tupu. So both outcomes are risky and you have the information. How to make the decision out of this? Ruth, what can you do? Which one can you go in? In a risky environment or risky condition, where both outcomes are going to be risky and you are aware they are risky. What can you do? Ushapewa transfer. na ndio unaenda, you are in the list ya kuenda IT. What do you do? Ama Clarence amelala. Mary, what can you do? Decision making under risky conditions. Florence, nataka kusikia kama hao wako class. Unajua niliwaambia kuna time nilifunza one student and every time nikiita jina yake anatoka kitchen na anakuja kujibu. Hata sijui kama alipita. The following semester kurudi. Naitwa Catherine, nauliza Catherine, can you now tell me the answer? Amenyamaza na kidogo. Dennis, ulikuwa unasema nini? Bado nilikuwa kitchen. And she was the only class. So maybe Ruth is not here. Yes, amejibu. So Ruth is around. Ruth anasema now you weigh the risk involved and you want to take the one that is less risky. Yeah, that's the thing. Take the one that is less risky. So better uende nyumbani badala ya kupotea because ukienda huku upotee, either way utapotea. Okay, the family will be compensated, but are you selling your life for them? So Mungu yuko, just go back home or resign. That is what I can do. The other condition is now uncertainty condition. So what can we say here? We can say that you can therefore choose in risky condition, choose the alternative with the highest expected outcome, where the highest expected outcome is over lower risk. They are risky, but choose the alternative where the highest expected outcome is over lower risk. Lower risk. Now, under uncertainty, that is the third condition. Uncertainty. So in uncertainty, this is where you don't have much information. A state where you are unaware of the problem, you are unaware of the problem that is being faced, and the alternative solutions. I want to state that it is a state of, it occurs when managers are unaware of the problem. Sio kama hizi, you are aware about the problem zote, but here is very risky. Managers are unaware of the problem they face. They are unaware of the problems they face. They do not know all the alternatives and the risk associated with the alternatives. That is uncertainty. They don't know the problem. They don't know the alternatives for that to solve the problem, and they don't know the risk that is associated with the problem, or the likely consequences of the alternatives that can be available. The likely consequences of the alternatives that can be available. Let's look at the second last subtopic, that is challenges in decision making. So these are the three conditions where you can make decisions. Under certainty make the one that has got the most benefit or the most beneficial. Under risky, take the one that is less risky. I don't know, under uncertainty, what do you do about that? How do you make decision under uncertainty? Now you don't know anything. So we are saying that under uncertainty condition, the managers need to acquire as much information, as much relevant information as possible. You need to avoid making decision immediately. Try to do more research, get more information as much as possible, so that you can be able to judge, And after that, you can now involve something like institution or judgmental or experience to make a decision. Because now when you have information, you can now, it becomes a little bit friendly or certain. Challenges, let's look at challenges in decision making. The first one is the risk and uncertainty conditions. The problem is the risk and uncertainty. You want to make decision, but you don't have all information. Risk and uncertainty. So this is why we are saying that maybe you could be lacking some relevant information that can satisfy you to make a decision. So along with every decision alternatives goes with the chance that it will fail to satisfy the relevant criteria. So that can actually discourage you when you don't have enough information that satisfies certain criteria that can allow you to make a decision. You'll be scared, you'll be slow to make a decision. Number two, inadequate resources. You know, you can make a decision to go to school, but you don't have money. That is a problem. Inadequate resources to implement inadequate resources. So the resources can be information. The resources can be materials or raw materials to implement the decision that you're making. We say that the decision process ends when you have done a review. You have to make a decision, take action, and review. Now, when you are taking action, uko na mkono tupu. How do you take action without resources? We also have time constraint. Time constraint. Time constraint is another challenge because we are saying that you need to take time, like under uncertainty, you need to gather much information as possible. Do you have that time to gather information? You don't have that time, right? It's not easy to gather information. So because of that, that can be a challenge, time constraint to make a decision. Next one is biased decision. Biasness or biased decision. It's normal for human being to judge people. And of course, whenever you're making decisions, sometimes you go with things that are of more that satisfy you than going with the reality. Sometimes decisions are biased. That is, the manager makes decisions whether which only benefit himself or the group that he leads. These decisions can have a very bad impact on the workers, on the customers, and the organization as a whole, right? You make a decision because of some 2-3 people that you're having there, but you're not looking at the longer impact or the larger effect of the decision that you're making. Another one is complexity. You can collect information, but they're so complex that you cannot be able to synthesize. You cannot be able to break the information into smaller parts that you can understand. So if the information is so complex, it is harder for you to choose. That is a common reason why people make wrong decisions. You have so much large, complicated information to break down and decide. We have conflict of interest or conflicts. That is another reason or another challenge. So effective decision making can be difficult because of conflict. Most individuals dislike conflicts and will avoid it when possible. Je, mtu unaweza amua nataka kusema kitu, make a decision, but conflict hautaki. And this affects people. Sasa Moses ametoka. Hujaiona Moses? Ashaenda. I've released it. Now, I'm talking about conflicts. So I'm saying that sometimes we fear making a decision because we don't want to get into conflicts. Imagine a situation where you are auditing a client. Then you realize that the client has made a mistake or there's a case that you need to let people know. But then you also remember that the person who has been involved is the person who chose you. Yeye ndiye amekuappoint. What do you do? Yeye ndiye amekuappoint na anakulipa vizuri, lakini yeye ndiye ako na makosa. What do you do? As an internal auditor, your boss, the CEO, has done a mistake. What do you do? Na huyo ndiye amekuappoint, yeye ndiye alikuleta. So we have conflicts. You are in a group. where the person who is not complying is the chairman. Na wewe ni treasurer ama wewe ni deputy. What do you do? Conflicts. That can be a challenge. Okay. Let's look at the ways of overcoming these barriers or conflicts in information. Ways of overcoming these challenges. These are challenges or barriers to decision making. So these are barriers or challenges, they're the same. Ways of overcoming barriers to decision making. Number one, you need to have a clear policy, and people should adapt the policy, clear policy. Clear policy. Number two, clear deadline. Clear deadline. Number three, proper budget allocation in terms of resources. To solve the resources issue, you need to have a good budget, proper budget allocation. Proper budget allocation. Wale wanafanya kwa government, you know, sometimes you go there to audit, like the auditor general team. Umeenda ku audit, hauna resources, alafu the person that you're auditing, probably the governor or an MP, anakuweka unalala place mzuri, anakupea pesa mingi, and then you come back. How do you give a bad report? But if you are well budgeted for, place unaenda kulala umelipwa, place the best place that the MP could give you, pesa umelipwa vizuri kushinda ile MP anakupea, why can't you make the right decision and give the right report or conclusion? So sometimes because of the resources, unaona hii, hey, wacha tu resources. So if there is no proper allocation, there is no finances or resources, you can find yourself having conflict of interest. Then clear understanding of intangibles. Clear understanding of intangibles. Intangibles, we are saying that there is need to incorporate the intangible factors to guide you in decision making. You know, intangible factors like the integrity, right? You need to understand the skills that you have, the accountability issues, the values that you have. Those are intangible factors. So the organization should enumerate on the intangible factors to ensure that there is a proper understanding and the effective use of information in the decision-making process. If the organization does not emphasize on the values, the organization does not motivate employees or the people who are making a decision to align themselves with a certain principle, then it is not easy to work. Now, the last part that we're now looking at, which is also very simple, is effective decision making. How do you ensure that the decisions that you're making are effective? You know, ways to make an effective decision. So let's look at ways to improve your decision making. Effective decision making. For you to make good decision, what are you supposed to do? So it's called effective decision making. That is the last thing. Florence, what happened to your friends? Huh? Okay, so one of the ways to improve your decision making process ways to improve your decision-making process or to have effective decision is to improve decision-making process. Number one, clearly identify what you need to decide on. That is the subject matter. You need to know what are you deciding on. Identify what you need. Number two, have someone play devil's advocate. What does that mean? To have someone play devil's advocate. Sometimes you want to make some very serious or risky decision. You need to have somebody to try to test the weaknesses that can arise from this. So we are saying that for you to make it effective, then you need to have somebody to act ni kama hiyo kitu mbaya yeye ameamua kuifanya, ni kama anafanya test. So this will aid you to make effective decision when making by testing the conclusions and identifying the possible weaknesses. You see, for example, it is like you want to try and do an experiment. If it was an investment, you put some small money there and look at what will happen. You know, kama unaingiza mguu kwa maji kidogo na unatest kama hiyo maji ni baridi ama ni moto, ama unaguza na mkono, that is playing devil's advocate. Wewe umekubaliana na hii, wewe saitani, sio? So that is what happens. So we are saying that you need to have somebody to try and do some test the conclusion of what might transpire if you make certain decisions. So don't just say that this thing is risky, I'm not trying it. Can you get somebody who has done it before, or somebody who is willing to test it before you make a decision to go into it fully? So that is what we call devil's advocate. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. That's what we're saying. The next one, decide based on principle, not emotions. So always make your decision based on principle, not emotions. Decide based on principles, not emotion. Decide based on principles, not emotion. Use broader data or gather more information, gather much information. Identify the best alternative. Don't have very little information and then use them as evidence. And then also explore pros and the cons and risk of this addition that you're making. You need to know the pros, the cons, and risks. Explore pros, cons, and risks of the decision that you're making. Then the next one, always think past the immediate impact. When you have to do something, think beyond the immediate impact. Think past the immediate impact. think past immediate impact. So sometimes when we are deciding something, sometimes we look at whatever is happening now. We don't look at the longer effect or impact. It is hard to get out of the moment and immediate concern. Is it true? Mtu akikuchokweza, sometimes it is very hard to overcome the immediate moment, the immediate concern, so that you look at the bigger picture, the future. You always want to react according to what has just happened now. So it is hard to get out of the moment, the immediate moment or the moment, you know. So we need to consider the possible and intended consequences of our actions. You also need to consider the worst case scenarios, the impact of the decision that you're making, keeping in mind that a low probability or a huge negativity impact, worst case, may want to be avoided. The bigger or huge negativity impact of your action needs to be avoided, right? So that is what we basically say, that this is the end of today's class. So there are some questions that have been set before. I want to share with you on the screen as we wind up. I'm hoping that you guys have not run away. Florence Ashaenda, no problem. I'm seeing I still have Ruth. We have Edwin here. So Edwin, these are some of the questions that have been set. You can text the screenshot or go and look for the past papers. Explain the term decision making. Check sitting 2022 August. Summarize 5 steps in decision making. Hiyo sasa uko sawa nayo. Using appropriate example, explain 4 decision making styles. Those are the approaches which I have given you. Define the steps involved in decision making. This one, the same as this one. 5 steps, and this one also, the 5 steps. Discuss 4 approaches to ethical decision making. These are things that you need to do so that you can make a good decision making, the ethical decision making. So what are you, how can you approach decision making? That is basically this one. These are the things that you consider you need to make good decisions. You need to ensure that you avoid biasness, that is, approach to ensure ethical decision making. You need to ensure that you think beyond the immediate, the moment, beyond the moment. You need to think about a lot of things. You know, sometimes people make decisions, just to summarize, when they are looking at the moment. Nakumbuka time ya election, tulikuwa wamekasirika ati wanataka kupunish President Uhuru. Saa hiyo, they were thinking about the moment. They are not thinking about the future consequences, right? Or probably they didn't gather much information. So we are saying that you need to gather much information about the decision that you're making. Is it the right one? But how can I get a chance to teach the whole country this? How can I get an opportunity to teach all Kenyans this? People are making mistakes because of lack of these ethical approaches. Thank you so much. Is there any question, Ruth, Mary, and Edwin?
Are we meeting tomorrow?
What do you think?
Mr. Dennis.